What are the things you need in order to set up a kitchen where you can cook Bengali food? In the first video of this 3-part series, we will start with the pantry. This week, we will focus on cooking ingredients with a long shelf life like rice, grains and spices, but we won't be talking about fresh ingredients like vegetables, fish, eggs or milk.
Hello. For today and the next 2 Fridays, there will be no recipe videos. Instead, we are very excited to be doing a series on how to set up a Bengali kitchen.
We should clarify that when we say Bengali kitchen, we don't mean that with this list you will only be able to cook Bengali food. What we mean is this list is primarily tailored to a Bengali cook. However, it should work as a pantry setup guide for Indian cooking in general.
Because this is a very long list, we thought it may be helpful to categorize the items by priority. So we've divided them in 3 groups. Basic includes the absolute essentials, expert the good to haves, and ninja everything else. But these tags are merely suggestive. They are only meant to help you prioritize. So don't attach too much importance to which item goes in which group.
After this video, you can go to bongits.com/kitchen and check out the full list in English and Bangla. You can even print it out as a nice checklist. অনেক লম্বা ভিডিও, অনেক কথা রয়েছে, তবু আমরা চেষ্টা করছি যত তাড়াতাড়ি সম্ভব বাংলা সাবটাইটেলগুলো আপলোড করার। আপলোড হয়ে গেলে আপনারা ভিডিওর সেটিংসে সিসি বা ক্লোজড ক্যাপশনে ক্লিক করলে বাংলা সাবটাইটেলগুলো দেখতে পাবেন। Right, so let's begin with the Bengali pantry essentials. And because this is a Bengali pantry we are talking about, let's start with rice.
On a day-to-day basis, most Bengalis eat seddho chal or parboiled rice. It is considered as having a slightly better nutritional profile than non-parboiled rice, and Bengalis think it is easier on the stomach. Once you have the basics covered with seddho chal, you need Gobindabhog rice. It is the kind of fragrant, non-parboiled rice that you will need if you want to make khichdi, pulao, or payesh. Now, Gobindabhog can be difficult to get outside Bengal, but Kali Jeera rice in Bangladesh or Bangladeshi stores abroad, or Jeera Sambar rice if you happen to live in the south, are similar varieties. Finally, you may want to keep some aged, long-grained basmati rice. These are ideal for biryanis, firni, and other exquisite rice dishes. When you buy this rice, check to see that it is old or aged rice. New rice is starchy and will lead to biryani disasters. Do keep in mind, however, that Gobindabhog and Basmati are both fragrant, but they are not interchangeable. Pulao or khichdi that is made with Gobindabhog has a much superior texture that you just won't get with Basmati.
Next up, dal, that is lentils. At the very basic level, you need to be stocked up on Mosur dal, Moong dal, and Cholar dal. With these 3 in your pantry, you can make a wide variety of dals. In fact, there are so many recipes with just these 3 that you are unlikely to get bored of them in a long time. To dial it up a notch, try getting Arahar dal, Kolayat dal, and Motor. That's right, graduate to this level and you will be able to make ghugni at home. To complete your arsenal of Bengali dals, you might consider stocking Torkar dal, Motor dal, Chola, and Kabli chola. Torka dal is whole moong dal with the husk. It is great for making torka, which it's safe to say is a hit with most Bengalis. Chola you can add to aloo kabli, churmur, chaats, and also to torkari like mochar ghonto. It is worth mentioning that 3 of the dals on this list look very similar, which may be confusing. Cholar dal, also called chana dal, is split gram. Arahar dal, also called tur dal, is split pigeon peas, and motor dal or matar dal is split yellow peas.
Most cooking begins with some kind of oil or fat. And in Bengali cooking, a majority of the recipes begin with good pungent mustard oil. Besides regular cooking, it is also used for deep frying. Think mach bhaja or beguni. In its raw form, you can drizzle mustard oil over certain dishes at the end of cooking to give them a sharp flavor. The concept is much like how the French use butter to finish their sauces or soups. Mustard oil is also used to flavor things like aloo seddho, that is Bengali mashed potatoes, or fana bhat. Then there is ghee, which any South Asian kitchen is incomplete without. Bengali style ghee in particular is a brown, nutty, more caramelized version. It is used to cook, fry and flavor dishes. Many Bengali vegetable dishes, torkari, are finished with a dollop of ghee and some garam masala at the very end. It's also good to have regular vegetable oil, what Bengalis call shada tel. This is mostly used for deep frying or in white gravies where mustard oil would turn it yellowish. Butter can be spread over toast, used to fry your omelette, or to flavor your steaming hot rice or mashed potatoes. Another useful thing to have in your pantry is dalda. Dalda or vanaspati or vegetable shortening, whatever you wish to call it, is essential in certain recipes. It is what is responsible for flaky egg rolls and crumbly pastries. And if you anticipate dabbling in Italian, Mediterranean or Persian food, you'll need olive oil. It is great when drizzled on pasta, hummus or even just good bread. Finally, this is something we almost always have in our freezer. It's mutton fat. You can collect it from the top of mutton or beef curries and store it in a jar in the freezer. You can use it in torka or ghugni or even chicken curry for an added boost of flavor and umami.
Grinding whole spices fresh every day is often not practical. These powdered spices will help you cook a wide variety of day-to-day dishes. Let's start with the absolute essentials: turmeric, cumin powder, coriander powder, and red chili powder. These form the base of many vegetable, fish, and meat dishes. At the intermediate level, you can keep a stash of Kashmiri red chili powder. Its heat is milder than the red chili powder, but it is full of flavor and adds a vibrant red color to kebabs or sauces. A tiny pinch of hing or asafoetida adds a wonderful flavor to some of the Niramish dishes. Its smell is exceedingly pungent, so use sparingly. It is useful also to stock chili flakes, which can be added to fuchka, churmur, and aloo kabli, as well as on pizzas or in pasta sauces, etc. A word of advice: ground spices lose their flavor over time, so if possible, buy smaller packets and refill your containers once a month.
So those were the powdered or ground spices. A Bengali kitchen needs a whole variety of whole spices, both for tempering or foron, or to create spice blends. First up, cloves, cinnamon and cardamom, what in Bengali we consider gota garam masala. We then have shada jeere, cumin seeds, kalo jeere, nigella seeds, and pach foron, a 5-spice mix. The last is a very typical Eastern Indian mix of whole spices used for tempering curries. The exact combination may differ by region and even family, but more or less nearly all cuisines of Eastern India have some version of pach foron. You can buy this ready-made or follow our recipe, which is linked in the description. Next, bay leaves, dried red chilies, and peppercorn. And you definitely need mustard seeds too. Mustard is a vital ingredient in Bengali cooking. It is used as tempering, and mustard paste forms the base of many Bengali sauces. We have two kinds of mustard seeds here, yellow and brown. If you're just starting out and have to choose, get just the brown mustard. Yellow mustard is less pungent than brown mustard, so we always use a combination to make mustard paste. Once you have managed to acquire the basic spices we've listed earlier, you can get dhone, methi, mori, and radhuni. Radhuni is a spice typical to Bengal. At least we haven't come across it in stores anywhere else. It is used to temper dals, flavor shukto, spice achars, and so on. It is often referred to online as celery seeds, but it is a completely different spice with no English translation that we could find. It looks very similar to yet another typically Indian spice, ajwain or carom seeds, so don't get confused. Then there's black cardamom, nutmeg, and mace. Advanced cooks may add star anise to the stash, along with pipli, shahjira, kabab chini, joan, and kasuri methi.
Okay, that was a lot, we admit. But then Indian, rather South Asian cuisines are known for the use of spices. But for now, let's conclude the section on powdered and whole spices and move on to the blends. Garam masala or garam masala in Hindi, Gujarati, etc. is a ubiquitous South Asian spice blend, the composition of which differs from region to region. The very basic Bengali garam masala is made with just 3 whole spices: cardamom, cloves, and cinnamon. You should always have this on hand. For certain recipes, it is useful to have Shahi garam masala, which besides the 3 basic spices contains nutmeg, mace, black cardamom, and a few more. We'll link you to the recipes of both kinds of garam masalas in the description. Bengali vegetable dishes are often finished with some garam masala and ghee. The effect is astonishing. Another typically Bengali blend is bhaja masala, which translates to dry roasted spices. It is made with a mix of whole spices, cumin seeds being the main ingredient, roasted and ground. You can see how these two are different shades of brown. The spices for garam masala are sometimes lightly toasted to awaken their flavors, while those for bhaja masala are roasted much darker. Bhaja masala is used in tarkaris like labra, panch mishali, or in chaats, phuchka, ghugni, chops, etc. We've linked our recipe in the description.
We are talking about this pretty late into the video, but you can't run a kitchen without salt and sugar. Besides salt and sugar, consider stocking gur, michri, and black salt. Michri is unrefined crystals of sugar, also called rock candy. It is less sweet and better tasting than regular processed sugar. A payesh made with michri tastes much better than that made with regular sugar. You can also stock up on chaat masala, amchur, and MSG, known more commonly by its brand name Ajinomoto. We say this in nearly all recipes that contain MSG, but we'll say it again. The theory that MSG is harmful has been widely debunked and has been linked to racism. MSG is essentially a salt, which occurs naturally in several foods including tomatoes, grapes, cheese, mushrooms, and even breast milk. We'll link some research on this in the description should you wish to check it out. Amchur is dried green mango powder. It is slightly tangy and makes a great addition to chops, chaats, or other stuffed fillings.
Bengal is a paddy growing region, so the variety of flours we use isn't as wide as in some of the Western Indian cuisines. Still, a range of flours are used in the Bengali kitchen, the most common in the present times being moida and atta. Moida or refined flour is used in luchi, kochuri, and parota, a host of Bengali snacks and sweets, as well as in baked goods. Atta is used mainly for roti, and in our kitchen it is also used to clean fish when it is brought home from the market to remove its sliminess. Other common flours are besan and rice flour. Besan or gram flour is used as binding in batters. Rice flour is sometimes added to the batter for crispiness. Rice flour is also an important ingredient for making pithe, that is snacks prepared during the Bengali harvest festival in winter. Advanced cooks can stock up on chhatu, that is sattu, and corn flour or cornstarch. Corn flour is used to thicken sauces and crisp up bhajas and pakoras. Chhatu is roasted gram flour, popular all over eastern India and particularly in Bihar and Jharkhand. Mixed with milk or water, it makes a quick, easy and nutritious drink in summer. You can also add it to marinades of certain Mughlai dishes such as chap or kebabs for binding and a nutty flavor. Chhatu looks very similar to besan, but while besan in most Bengali kitchens is the flour of cholar dal, chhatu is a flour made with whole roasted gram.
Okay, moving on to the broad category we are calling fruits and nuts. If you choose to stock cashew and raisins, you will discover they have widespread uses in the Bengali kitchen. These are great additions to snacks such as mishti shuji, jhal shuji, chired pulao, etc., as well as certain more special dishes like pulao, payesh, and chutney. On the topic of chutney, consider keeping dates or khejur and amshotto around the house. Amshotto is made from mango pulp and can be used to put together quick, easy snacks like doodh chire or doodh bhat. Roasted peanuts make great snack on their own. They add so much flavor when fried and added to chop or shingara fillings. Almonds are very versatile too. They can be used in baking and also to prepare kormas of different kinds. The aloo posto craving Bengali will do well to keep poppy seeds or posto on hand. Advanced cooks may consider char mogoj, that is mixed melon seeds, and til, that is sesame seeds. Each of these, that is posto, til and char mogoj, when added in dishes in paste form, produce rich creamy gravies. Ripe tamarind is usually used in pulp form after it is extracted from its pod. It is very sour and wonderfully flavorful. It has the kind of sourness you won't get from other citric ingredients like lime. It is used in a whole range of snacks like doi bada, phuchka, churmur, aloo kabli, etc. Finally, we have aloo bokhara or dried plums. They are a great addition to sweet chutneys. Aloo bokhara can also be essential if you plan to prepare biryani or a rich pulao at home.
These are items we didn't quite know how to categorize, so we are listing them here. Bori is made from different kinds of dals. Little meringue-shaped dollops are dried in the sun in large batches during the winter months. Bori is fried and added to vegetable dishes to provide contrasting texture and flavor. It is heavenly in fish curries and shuktos, where it soaks up the delicious jhol, softens up, and bursts in the mouth when you bite into it. Papor is a great accompaniment to certain meals. We like it best served with khichdi and chutney, and of course it's a great evening snack during the rainy months. Beyond its use as an aftershave, fitkari or alum has exactly one vital function in the kitchen: to whiten rice. A small quantity added to water for boiling rice works wonders, especially in areas where the water has a lot of iron. But remember to use only a very tiny amount or it may affect the taste of your rice. Citric acid is a handy thing to have around, especially for recipes where you want to add acidity but not any strong citrus flavor. We use it in chutney, homemade jams, in dhokla, among other recipes. For chops, devils, and other breaded cutlets, you need breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs are very easily available in many local grocery shops, but you can make even better breadcrumbs at home. Just toast stale pieces of bread until crisp and then coarsely grind them. Adding quick and easy snacks created from muri, khoi, chire, and shuji to your rotation can potentially solve the critical problem of what to eat for breakfast, or those times when you find yourself hungry in the evenings before dinner is ready. Chire or beaten rice can simply be eaten with milk or yogurt for breakfast, or as chire pulao if you're feeling fancy. Shuji or semolina can be made into a quick sweet porridge or savory jhal shuji. Muri or puffed rice is great with your evening dose of tele bhaja, and if you don't have tele bhaja, just plain jhal chanachur. Oh yes, you have to have chanachur. Finally, what emergency snack collection would be complete without Maggi or any other instant noodle of your choice? Coming to beverages, if you happen to be among the avid tea drinkers that make up the Bengali race, you will need teas of your choice. We keep loose leaf Darjeeling for liquor tea as well as CTC for milk tea. Coffee drinkers might stock coffee. Here's our filter coffee, brewed in our trusted South Indian filter of many years. We made a whole video on it which we will link in the description. Which reminds me, Bengalis, or indeed all South Asians, love biscuits with their tea or coffee. We forgot to mention in the snack section, but even if you don't eat biscuits, keep some in your pantry for guests to serve them with tea. The final beverage on this list, some kind of sharbat or syrup for the summers. Our favorite is rose syrup, refreshing on a hot day in water or even milk.
You have to have kashundi and ketchup. Kashundi is Bengali mustard. There can be various types, but the most common one is flavored with green mangoes. It is a condiment of choice with chops, fish fries, and cutlets. We also love it with shaak or in panta bhat. Red chili and green chili sauces act as both sauce and condiment. If you are in Kolkata and want to support a local Kolkata-based company, consider getting the Pao Chong chili sauces. They are practically the inventor of the green chili sauce. It is great in noodles and chili chicken, as well as in rolls. A good achar can brighten up simple meals. It is great with parotas or roti. Keep a good fruit jam in your fridge for a quick snack of toast and jam. We also like to keep some mayonnaise for sandwiches, salads, or a prawn cocktail. Have you seen our recipe of Mocambo prawn cocktail? We'll link it for you in the description.
Based on what you like cooking and eating, you might consider stocking some noodles and pasta. If you want a change from rice and roti, they make great dinner as well as a filling evening snack. That leads us to the next two sections, dried herbs and sauces. For pasta, roasts, soups and steaks, you may need some dried herbs like oregano, rosemary, thyme and so on. Dried herbs are great backups when fresh herbs are not readily available. Depending on how often you cook with these ingredients, you will need a small collection of sauces. At the very least, for a simple chow mein, chili chicken or stir-fry type fare, you will need plain vinegar and soy sauce. For a vinegar with a bit more flavor, consider stocking wine vinegar, palm vinegar or apple cider vinegar. Worcester sauce is great in roasts, stews and even everyday curries. If, like us, you love Chinese food and cook it often, you can keep dark soy sauce, sesame oil, chili oil, Chinese cooking wine, oyster sauce, hoisin sauce, and so on. Most of these sauces have a long shelf life, so they last ages.
For Mughlai dishes, you will need kewra water and rose water. You can use these in biryani, chaap, korma, firni, and so on. Aficionados of Kolkata style biryani will swear by the fragrance of our next ingredient, meetha attar. It is a complex essence fashioned with a combination of several mysterious aromatic substances, including rose water, kewra water, sandalwood, etc. Meetha attar is difficult to get outside Bengal. The meetha attar we've seen online has a different composition from the one we are talking about. The last thing here is kesar or saffron. It is a supremely precious ingredient and usually broken out only for very special occasions. Kesar is used in Mughlai savory and sweet dishes for both flavor and color. This list is not for hardcore bakers. But if you like to make the occasional cake, you must have baking soda and baking powder in your cupboard. Baking powder usually has a shelf life of 9 to 12 months if kept properly sealed. So put a date on your boxes or containers so that you know when you first open them. Old or expired baking powder can prevent cakes from rising properly. You will also need vanilla essence and cocoa powder. Besides these, we like to keep on hand dark chocolate compound to make ganache, brownies, hot chocolate, etc. Vanilla beans to infuse cream for cream custard, for example, and brown sugar for use in cakes and biscuits.
So those were our pantry essentials. Did we miss out anything important? Let us know in the comments if you think something ought to be added to the list. We will keep updating our website. Join us next Friday for the second part of the series.